Okay, now I'm going to get to work on converting a project of ours. It's an e-learning program, and we have to convert the models into a format that WebGLStudio will understand because it doesn't know how to deal with FBX files. It's not a problem. All we have to do is load the files inside of uh, inside of your editor. In this case, I'm going to use Lightwave. I know it's old-fashioned, but that's what I use. So I'll load up the breadboard FBX file, and uh, down here we'll need the texture, and that is existing right now as a TGA file, I believe. We're going to convert that here in a minute, but for now we'll just see what it looks like. Also, we also need the light bulb object texture map. That's down in here somewhere. Um, there's a lot of textures in this game, so it's tricky to figure them out. Okay, here we go. There's the light bulb. Now we just have to apply the texture, and we'll do that through the surface editor. We have to do this one at a time, but I'm going to accelerate this process so we don't have to watch this. It's pretty boring. All I'm going to do is go into each one of these materials and apply a texture and give it a UV map, and it'll just do the rest. Okay, yeah, UV map, dummy. Okay, select the main UV map, and there you go, you got something. And then just copy and paste it a bunch of times in all these different materials. It's not very well optimized, but whatever. It was made 8 years ago. What do you want? So go through here, add the textures for everything. I got hung up on this part for a little while. It looks like the UV map is wrong. I don't know how that happened, but it's just not correct. So I'll have to edit that by hand to make it work right. I'll just do all the light bulbs real fast. Alright, now the light bulb's got textures. Alright, go in there and select the polygon and go into the UV map, find out where that polygon is living, and figure out why it's not putting itself on the texture. First of all, we need to give it the proper UV map. Yeah, see, it's wrong. Isn't that weird? Okay, that's easy to fix. Just gotta scale and position it in the UV map a little bit better. And that's the only thing that seems to be wrong with this model, is the UV map is a little screwed up. Alright, that's that. We'll save it. It's breadboard.lwo. And I'm going to get rid of all these stupid meta files that Unity barfed out. I'll just delete those real fast. So just select all and drag it to the trash. Alright, now that garbage is gone. We're going to need to convert these texture maps. TGA files are ridiculous. No one uses TGA files anymore, so we're going to use web standard formats. I'll just load up Photoshop and close all these other boing ball demo graphics and load the files. I'm going to do this the slow way, but it's the sure way because I get to do the optimizations in the way I like to do them and preserve the file resolution almost perfectly. Alright, now let's compare the old folder to the new one. So just go down here to textures, see how big that is, So whopping 480 some megabytes. Man, that's a monster. Now, show the new one, the text 2D, which is our converted images, and it's, what is that, 8 megs? Oh, that's really good. Okay, so now I'm just dilly-dallying a little bit here, just making sure the file's in place. Okay. So I'm just going to replace those two textures from TGA to PNG or JPEG or whatever I chose. So under text 2D, the images exist. And here we go, fish for the image. There's only a cajillion of them. Okay, that's good. Now change the light bulb texture. Under text 2D. Alright, I just gotta save it. Just make sure it's okay. Save as save breadboard. Yes. Oh. No. Just save it. You were right the first time. Yep, replace. Okay, good. Now just export this as a new model. And bring the model into WebGLStudio. We just got to go back to the editor. It would be kind of nice if there was a hot link between the editor and the drive. That was a little bit more. Oh, maybe not. I guess that's not important. Although going to the URLs by hand is kind of clumsy. But it's okay. It works. So now we just got to fish for the module, the object, the obj file, breadboard obj, and we have some problems. We're going to try to import it. It says file too big, which I assume that might be because the file server is improperly configured, and we can fix that. So we just go over to, well, let's just go to the file server. Oh yeah, I tried deleting it through the memory and that didn't work. For some reason, when it gives you this error, it goes and throws it into this mysterious area called memory, which is cleared every single time you quit the program. So I don't see why it saves it. It's a little confusing and a little bit misleading to have files in memory that aren't saved in your project. Alright, so that didn't work. So maybe it's the file server, so we go into the file server. It says 4.8 megs out of something or other used. Well, that's pretty small. Actually, the object is almost that big. So we increase the size to 200 megabytes, and well, that should be better, or should work. But it doesn't. I'll show you how. So back to the drive, import the file, select the file from the hard drive, breadboard object, and then we say import, and then it kind of worked. Well, let's see. It didn't complain. And is it in there? Let's go see in the file server if it's in there or not. No, it's not. So that's kind of odd. So go back to editor. I go to Drive, Projects, Import File. I think there's a special trick to doing this. You have to select the file, and then you have to give it a, oops, yeah, this is file too big. Let's try this again. Good. Okay, file server. In the file server, under projects, there's nothing there. The file size is the correct size. Everything seems to be good. Go back to editor. And then go to Drive and then import file. Now there is a secret. Am I going to show you the secret or not? Okay, go import now. Choose a directory. That's important, otherwise it'll fail. And it helps to say optimize data, and then import, and it just works. Boom. And under Drive, it's there. That's what should happen when you import your file. It should exist there. So we're good. I'm going to just update the preview, and there you have it. There's the object. Now we just need to apply the texture. Getting a little bit better at navigating. The keys are starting to grow on me, so I'm starting to feel a little bit more at home with this interface. It's actually pretty good. I like the way it works. So I'm going to save this. Save. Oh yeah, the curse of the folder. You have to say, yes, I want to put it in the base directory. Thank you. And there's our scene, and there's our object. Okay, back to the file server, and there it is. We're going to make a new folder called text2d. And now, is the folder in there? No, not yet. Until you hit the thingy, then it's in there. Good. Okay, it's a little twerky. Here we go. I'm going to import the texture. Now, this is not the way you should do it. This is dumb. Forget this. No, forget that. Nope, don't do that. Go into text2d, go into Finder. We're going to show off just how cool this can be. Alright, so just take everything from the text2d folder and drag it in. Boom. And there it is. Kapla, kaplow, it's in. That's what I want to see. That's great. So now go and we'll just need to apply the texture. We'll go into, I don't know what I'm doing here. Get out of there. Go back to scene. Okay, now select the material. Yes, material. Click on it. Good. Now now standard material. Edit the material. We just got to give it a texture. Now we got to play hunt for the texture. There it is. Oh, down, stupid. Come on. You can see it. You see it? Down, down, down. Oh, you went by it again. Oh, nope. Romeo the Nail is just wonderful. Okay. Now we have texture. And now I'm kind of like, hunting around for options to get rid of that horrible missing texture on the light bulbs issue, and I tried the multiple materials thing and got lost. So I'm just fast forwarding through this part. Where'd the texture go? I don't know. I put multiple materials and it's all gone now. So the cure for this issue is just to turn that thing off, and now it's back. Now we have to take care of these light bulbs. They're wrong. They got the wrong UV map somehow, and it's probably not WebGLStudio's fault. because the light wave is kind of janky in places when it comes to exporting. However, this is no big deal. We can fix this. So all we got to do now is we'll take this whole model, it's in a bunch of different layers, and paste it into one layer, and then save it. And then we need to select the light bulb, one of them. We're going to clone it. Select it, copy it, make a new object, and paste it in there. Well, I'm dilly-dallying a little bit here. What am I doing in here? Okay, just cut it. New. Paste. Okay, let's touch this material up a little bit. It's got light wave's terrible shading on there. So just give it some smoothing. Yeah, that's better. Let's see, make the a little bit shinier. Yeah, that's good. Alright, now save this as breadboard bulb. There you go. And then we need to get rid of all the other, the rest of the light bulbs on this thing and make a light bulb free model. So select all, delete. Or select connected, delete. And do that for the rest of them. Alright, here's our bulbless model. Save it. Now we'll just export as an object. And then we'll export this as an object. Breadboard bulb.object. Now here's a little criticism of the interface. This would be really easy to correct, I think, for the programmer. But we'll go under here and we're going to find our object file. And it would be great if you could just right-click on it and in the properties somewhere update the model file through uploading a new one. Well, there was no way to do that. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a way of directly uploading a replacement file for that. It would be great if you could just right-click and then replace, but you can't. So we have to delete it and have to import it over again. And that ruins everything in the interface, or in the editor. It screws up everything. And now, here we go again, file too big. Well, I got the wrong options. And here we go again. We got this janky junk here. Get rid of that. Alright, bye. Now, reset the editor, because that really screws up everything. It's just best to reset when you encounter that problem. Now we'll go to File, Import File, give it a, select the file, breadboard object, choose, give it a folder. This is important. It doesn't work unless you do this. Then optimize the data. I recommend doing that. And then boom, and now it works. Alright, great. Now we just have to redo all our work again, give it a material, and then edit the material, and then give it a texture for the color. There we go. Found it that time. Alright, now we just need to add a light bulb. So import file, choose the light bulb. Oh, I didn't do the other trick that time. What is going on here? Okay, well, there's a little inconsistency there, but it worked into our favor this time because I didn't mess with it. Okay, we're going to rename this as breadboard, and then we're going to rename the bulb as bulb. Well, first we need to give it a material with a texture. Okay, now it's got a texture. we can commence with cloning. So right click. Oh, give it a name first, not node 2. Bulb 1. Alright, right click, clone, and then give it another name, bulb 2. Move it into position. And tweak it a little bit. And it looks a little off. There we go. A little better there. That's good. And then I had this strange problem where this phantom selection thing was showing up, but I didn't know what to do to clear it. Where it came up with this kind of orangish selection, and I don't know what it means. So I just saved my scene, and then reloaded the editor, and then that issue went away, and just reloaded the scene. I don't know if it was a problem, but it was confusing, and I didn't want to mess up anything, so I just reset the scene. I'm going to do the rest of the bulbs now. We're going to do this at 4x speed, so you don't have to wait on all this stuff because it's pretty mundane. So we're just zoom, okay. We have to make a lot of these clones. We have to make 12 of them. And it's pretty mundane, so there's nothing special going on here. Just copying and pasting, really, basically, and moving into position. I'm going to give it a parent, and yeah, give it a bold parent. So everything is nice and neat. You can turn them all off and on at the same time if you want to. It's really better that we do it this way anyway, because that way we can control the appearance of each bulb separately, which is important for this program. Alright, that's over with. Now we have the breadboard. This is pretty good. It's actually at a point where I'd like to display it in the browser. So I'm going to save my scene first. Save and find in Solver. Okay, save. And then just make sure that the scene really is saved. I don't know why I do this, but it makes me feel better every time I do it. So there we go. There's the scene. The axes for the light bulbs are offset quite a bit. It's not a big deal. I mean, I could have centered the light bulbs, but I didn't want to. I was lazy, so don't worry about that. Now I just want to demonstrate changing the emissivity of one of the light bulbs to demonstrate making it look like it's been turned on. There's ability to do glow effects, and I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I think that would look so cool if I could make a glow effect in those light bulbs. I mean, I could put a light source in there, but a glow effect would be just as good. See, now we have one light bulb lit out of the rest. Okay, so save the scene. No. Now I'm going to send this to my brother because he's interested in this project. So I'm going to say that snapshot to him, and then I'm going to go to export scene. Oh, I went to export, go to project, export, and then just to zip with scene, and it didn't do anything. It looks like I'm dead in the water. I can't test it. I mean, yeah, I can test it that way. But let's see, I probably should add a camera. So I'll just add a camera real fast. Okay, now if I go to player, test, it does that. That looks good. I just want to make that a file on my computer, but I can't do that for some reason. I go to project, from server, safe, okay, load scene, and then project export to zip, nothing, doesn't work. That's a showstopper. We have to figure out what's wrong with that. I tried publishing. This was a mistake. Don't do this. This messes up everything. No, you don't want to do that. The publish menu is pretty strange. Doesn't make much sense. Under publish, it should have options for sending files, but it doesn't do that. It actually, I can't figure out what it's supposed to do. Actually, it's a little strange. So testing, yeah, that works, I guess. But there's no way to get it on a production server that way. So in server, yeah. So I went to export. Now that'll just not work. For some reason, it is totally frozen. Will not obey my command. Yeah, I tried a whole bunch of times. I tried publishing. I tried this is export to JSON, and I get this stuff, and I don't know what to do with that. So here's a better idea. All right. So the export options are kind of confusing. You can export to a scene, but it only saves one scene. And it's not, the reason why it's not convenient is because it doesn't really give you, well, here's what I would do. Like under the project export menu, you should be able to click on export and come up with a menu like this where it says publish to web server. And then you would have a couple choices. You would have a beta FTP server for testing and for showing your clients before it's released. And then there would be a button for credentials, and you would enter in your FTP credentials, the starting directory, and a couple other things. And that would also have the same interface for the production FTP credentials. The web app should have a list of scenes that are pre-included so that everything is accessible by the player. And you should be able to set under your scene list which scene to start with, just like with Unity scene list, because it's pretty logical. And then it would be really great to have another button here for web app player HTML settings, and in there you can set things like favicons or icons and web app tags that are normally used with Apple web apps and Android web apps. It would be really great to have that. It'd be great to have like player settings such as a custom loading screen or a real basic loading template so that you can differentiate your brand when it's loading. I know the loader is really fast, but in cases where you have a really large scene, it would be nice to have a customizable loader. That would be very nice. And then you would just press the beta FTP button, and then it would send the scene files and everything all ready to go with an index file, and then it would automatically launch into a new tab where the index file lives. And if you wanted to get the production files, you could have a button for download, but it's just as easy to go to FileZilla or whatever your FTP client of choice is and just grab the files from there. That's pretty much the gist of it.